right, welcome back to the latest edition of Picky's Picks. Today we are picking Masters of the Universe Teela. All right, so this is the Tweeterhead Masters of the Universe Teela. She's sold via Sideshow. I'm not sure if you can get her directly from Tweeterhead. However, we'll go into a little bit of character history, go into a little bit of her specs, and then I'll let you know what I think. All right, so Teela is the captain of the guard with the Masters of the Universe. She is the daughter of He-Man. She is the daughter of the Sorceress of Castle Grayskull and Man-at-Arms. In some iterations, Man-at-Arms has formally adopted her. In some iterations, he is her indeed biological father. We'll go into that in a moment. Teela has always trained to lead the guard. She is a fierce warrior. She has been amazing. I grew up watching her on the Filmation version. Amazing. They did a really good job with her. As He-Man moved from the 80s into the 90s, he kind of went into space, had a ponytail, was on a whole different planet. He and Skeletor, we didn't see the regular Masters of the Universe. Teela was not in that iteration. Didn't even make an appearance to my knowledge. Wasn't a good show anyway. Moving along into the 2000s version of He-Man. She was amazing. As a matter of fact, I hate to say this because I normally go with the original, but they pretty much did almost a better job with her in the early 2000s version that used to come on the Cartoon Network on Saturday nights than they did with the Filmation version that we watched after school growing up. Moving into the 2020s. So this has divided the Masters of the Universe fan community basically over the character of Teela. The Kevin Smith produced version that was available on Netflix, I won't go into my opinion on it unless someone wants me to. If so, drop me a comment. I'll do something talking about that version of Masters of the Universe Revelation, which was like Teela's quest. I'll just say it was not my particularly favorite iteration of the character. It was supposed to pick up where Filmation left off, but they kind of really had her roided out. Like she was just pumping iron, taking roids, bench pressing Castle Grayskull. We didn't even need He-Man. She was straight OP. She was like overpowered to the stratosphere. There was no need for a guard, for He-Man, for any other masters. It was the straight up Teela show. I did not like her iteration at all. Not even how she was drawn when she became the Sorceress of Castle Grayskull in that Masters of the Universe Revelation. And you know what? I'll leave it at that. I'll just say it wasn't my favorite version. Moving along into further into the 2020s, maybe around the same time, there's another version available on Netflix. It's Masters of the Universe. I can't think of the name of it, but it's almost like a 3D looking show. I'm not sure if Teela's on there because I just couldn't get into it. I'm gonna force myself to watch it. She may be on there. I've kind of saw, I think, He-Man, Skeletor, Evelyn, but it's not for me. It's not for, but it wasn't designed to cater to an audience of people that grew up with the original. I think it was to rope in some new fans of the genre. So back to the statue. That's enough about Teela's history. This particular version kind of mirrors her Filmation style. They did a great job. I like the eyes. To me, Tweeterhead has really been knocking it out the park with the Masters of the Universe line. They kind of picked up where Sideshow, I think, was originally doing it in-house. They kind of stopped, and then Tweeterhead has picked them up. We've got Merman on the way, Trapjaw coming out, but I think this really represents her Filmation version. Maybe a comic accurate version, but definitely the Filmation version. I think they did an excellent job. I kind of like everything about this statue, minus one thing that I'll go into momentarily. So this is the collector's edition. I was unable to secure the the special edition. There's an edition where she has her snake rod staff, and that's amazing. That's the one that I wanted. I'm still on the wait list to it, even though I have this one in hand. So they've got her in a battle pose. She's holding her sword, which is classic of this sword and sorcerer genre. She's coming down the steps of Castle Grayskull, which keeps her in lockstep with the other figures in the line that are all kind of somehow, some way depicted as being at Grayskull. I think the paint looks good. I think they did a great job on her physique. She's holding her shield. They've made her she's in battle mode, but she still has a soft look, almost like a dreamy type of seductive look, but they kept the tones nice and soft. It really gives me representation of that old school Filmation version, which is my favorite version, which is, drops the nostalgia, the member berries in my book. So let's just get to the specs. She's 18 and a half inches tall, and that's because she's standing on the steps of Grayskull. She's about 13 inches wide, and I want to say 9.5 inches deep. I'll have to double check that depth. They did a great job. I love the portrait. I love the portrait. I love the hair. The accessories look good. The paint on the sword looks good. Even down to like her belt. They did a really good job, in my opinion, with the belt. The one thing that I don't like, and I'm not being particular, but at these prices that they're charging for statues now, there should be like no imperfections. And it's like on her arm, up above like her top bracelet, you can kind of see where the paint was a little off, and you can kind of see it's almost like she has an indentation right there, but you can tell it wasn't meant to be there, like a natural birthmark. It's not something that I would send it back about, but I probably will be contacting Sideshow, because I think at least a partial credit is due for the amount of money that is spent on these statues. But she looks great. She does come with one switch out, and that takes her from the Filmation version to the early 2000s version that I mentioned when I was kind of giving her character history. And this is kind of the exact look that she had in the 2000s version, which again was an amazing version. I really like this portrait as well. It looks vastly different, but it represents what it's supposed to represent. I can't say anything bad about it. Of course, if I hadn't grown up with the Filmation version, and I think I was a child in the early 2000s when that version came out, I would probably rock this portrait because it's a great job. But the other one just has the nostalgia kick for me. And you know what? I'm not going to make this terribly long. Let me know if you have this statue, if you plan on getting this statue, if there's some Teela history that you would have liked for me to cover. I'll say one extra thing as a bonus. I mentioned that in the 2000s version, they hinted that although Man-at-Arms isn't her father, Fisto, I'm not going there, may be her father. And since he and Man-at-Arms are brothers, that still makes her his flesh and blood. She'd be his niece. But either way, he raised her. She's his daughter. Arch nemesis of Evil Lyn all throughout the series. And I didn't mention the Masters of the Universe movie because she was not in it. I don't know if she'll have representation in the movie that's to come. We have another live action coming later this year. Maybe we'll get some Teela representation there. I'm not sure. Depends on if they have a horrendous budget like they did for the 1990s movie. But that's it. So let me know what you think. Drop a like, comment, and subscribe, share, and let me know if there are any statues that you would like to see reviewed throughout that Masters of the Universe Thundercat genre. Thanks for tuning in. I'll catch you next time.